Pam Emmanuel opened his barbershop 12 years ago in his hometown in Central Plateau State. He relocated to Abuja a few years ago in a bid to expand his business. But recently, he says, he has been struggling to make a profit.
Since the government removed the fuel subsidy, the price of fuel has increased and everything in the market has also increased. So the only thing we can do is to meet up. So we have to increase our prices.
The Nigerian government had subsidized fuel prices for decades. In May, President Bola Tinubu shut down the program.
The fuel subsidy is gone.
That decision more than tripled the price of gas and sent food and transportation costs through the roof. The cost increase also made it expensive to run the generators that many Nigerian households and businesses depend on when the erratic power supply shuts off.
I'm just pleading the government to do something about it. They should look into it. First is the masses, not them themselves. So they should have conscience.
President Tinubu embarked on some of Nigeria's boldest reforms in decades to grow the country's struggling economy and address corruption. He also floated the national currency against the dollar and other global currencies to eliminate multiple exchange rates. But the naira has fallen to historic lows since then, and his policies are drawing strong criticism from Nigerian labor unions. The Nigerian Labor Congress (NLC), which represents hundreds of thousands of workers, wants authorities to revert to the previous status quo, review salaries for its members, and introduce cheaper gas-powered mass transport systems to reduce workers' transportation costs. Last month, the NLC led thousands to the streets in protest, calling the government's policies anti-poor. This week, a meeting between the National Executive Council of the Workers' Union and government officials ended in a deadlock. 2 weeks ago, the NLC gave the government 2 weeks to reverse its policies. NLC spokesman Benson Upa says the deadline is Friday.
Subsidy service is not a burden to the nation. It is those who exploit the window of subsidy to create, it is those people that create the burden. And the president in his speech graciously acknowledged the existence of a cabal. But instead of dealing with that cabal, he chose to deal with us, the innocent, in fact the victims. If at the end of the 14 working day ultimatum, its lawful demands are not met, it will embark on an indefinite strike action. The NEC has now rescinded that decision.
Nigerian authorities are asking for more time to fix the problem.
I must say that our meeting was very robust and we had a very, very fruitful meeting. But at the end of the day, many of those items that we left are still for consideration.
The World Bank says Nigeria could save $5.1 billion this year from its economic reforms. At the same time, it warns that more than 7 million citizens could be pushed into poverty if the subsidy removal is not properly managed. Obiezu, VOANews, Abuja, Nigeria.